Hello again fellow RVers. Well, today's video is the installation of this 21-foot powered awning by RecPro. As you can see, it was a success. Took us a matter of 2 or 3 hours, but follow along if you want to see how simple just 2 people can make this installation. And I say cheers to that. Okay, so this is how it arrives on your doorstep. 2 boxes, one large one with the legs in and the 3-section tube which are screwed together, and another one with the awning fabric. But we're not going to bore you with a nice long unpackaging instead. And as if by magic, there it is, unboxed. So what we're doing is we'll do a little walkthrough now and show you what everything is. Okay, so that was everything laid out on the table. As you can see, RecPro send the whole shebang, screws, manual, everything, even a switch. But we'll get to that later. The first thing we need to do is take this is a 21-foot awning, by the way, so this is the largest one RecPro do. And they can't send it in one piece, of course, so it has to come in 3 sections. So as you can see, I unscrewed the first screw, and you pull out this little sleeve that's in the middle, and you're looking for 2 holes to be showing. I'll label them there. There's 1 and 2. Make sure there's 2 showing, because this sleeve slides into the next part of the awning tube. And all you're going to do now is you're just going to join everything together, part A to part B and part B to part C. If you go for the big awning like I did, you may get a smaller one, so you may not need to go through this process. If not, you can just get it out and it's ready to go. But here you can see me now just sliding over the center part, which is the center part of the 3-piece tube. And you want to make sure also that one end of the tube has the wire and the manual turner. Make sure that's at the front of the RV. And as you can see here on the left, the last tube at the back of the RV doesn't have any wire hanging out of it. So this is the last part now, just connecting it up. Once this is done, we can go ahead and start getting ready to fit it. And as you can see, it's nice and straight. So what we did now was we laid it on the floor, because we want to get a measurement of exactly how wide this thing is, or long this awning is. So lay the 2 legs down with the awning pole and line this bolt up with this hole there, both front and rear. And then I take a measurement from the underneath and I go all the way along to the other side, so I'm measuring how wide the 2 legs are apart exactly. We want to place the first leg at the front of the RV in between the door and the window frame. So as you can see, this RV already had an awning up there. I'm just taking a measurement to see how far I want to come down from the roof, because you mustn't exceed the top of the roof with this awning. It has to be lower. So I slide this little bracket into place, and again I want to line up now horizontally that post with those 2 holes, and I take a measurement from the top of the bracket to the top of the awning. It's approximately 4 inches. So I know that when I mount this bracket here, I'm going to be below the top of the RV, which is very important. You don't want this awning being above the RV. Now, as you can see, I'm just drilling the holes now just underneath the wire from the original awning that came out. It's the perfect position for me. And this bracket may appear to look upside down, but it's actually not. It's designed that way, so don't panic. And then Once I've got the holes drilled, I just want to put a piece of butyl tape. It's quite important because you don't want any moisture or any rain, water coming in through that hole. So nice big chunk of butyl tape. And then I'm just going to put the 2 screws in. You can always go around afterwards and you can scrape off any excess butyl tape with a knife, and just be careful. So now we offer up the first awning, the front arm, and as you can see, it slides up into that bracket. So now Valerie is just taking a measurement to make sure that we have it kind of square in between this, the door and the front of the RV. And then Valerie will mark 2 holes at the bottom. I'm now going to drill those out. And again, we're going to put some butyl tape on, just to make sure the water doesn't come in again. Very important. This is not expensive. It's only cheap from Home Depot or any store like that. So then you can slide the arm back on, and now I can put the 2 screws in the bottom. And now once I do that, that arm is fixed, apart from the very end of the video where I'll show you the last screw to put in once we open these arms up. But yeah, I'm just putting those 2 screws in now. You don't have to go crazy tight. Just make sure they are home and it is fairly, you know, fairly well tight, but you don't have to go crazy. And that's it. Valerie's just going to take a quick measurement. You do have a little bit of lateral movement in these screws brackets because it is slightly elongated hole. And all I'm doing now is I'm just double checking that I am lower than I want to be on the roof. So now I'm going to match that measurement at the back. I believe it was about 5. I was about 5.5 inches down. So all I've done is I've just put a piece of tape there to make sure that I don't exceed, so that the awning is level. And also the length. The piece of tape on the right is to measure from the front leg to the rear leg. So again, we get that length that we want, and they're the same width apart. So again, 2 more holes, another big nice chunk of butyl tape. Don't be shy with this stuff. And then again, we get that bracket screwed in. Once that bracket's screwed in, we can bring the rear arm into position and slide it up into the bracket. Again, Valerie will mark the bottom 2 holes with a Sharpie, or actually I think I do it this time. Valerie's obviously doing something else. I'm just trying to get it reasonably square to the window. We do make a measurement full length afterwards to check that it's in the right position. And again, you have that little bit of lateral movement from side to side because the holes are slightly elongated. But yeah, there you go. That's just a Sharpie mark, 2 holes, again, a nice big chunk of butyl tape. And then that's the, once we put it up and put the 2 screws in, that will be the second arm fitted. So fairly straightforward, you know, nothing complicated about it at all. Just be very accurate with your measurements and make sure that the awning, when it's fitted, doesn't exceed the roof line of the RV. So now the last 2 screws just going in. Once this is done, we can think about getting the actual awning itself, the fabric. And we went a different route putting the fabric up. We see some people rolling the fabric onto the tube first, and then they have to go up and carry the whole tube and fabric and slide it into the cater rail at the top. Well, we chose a different method. We wanted to just make it a bit easier for ourselves, and we chose to just slide the fabric into the cater rail. This is, of course, if you already have an awning and you're replacing it. If you don't, they supply the cater rail, which we're just going to slide into now. I'll show it to you now. I'm just backing out because I wanted to show you this. This is very sharp and it will rip the awning fabric if you're not careful. So I wanted to just open this up a little bit and just give it a good chance of not catching. I also have a rag around the top of the pole. You can see there the awning leg. So we're now just going to slide this over, slide this along the RV. like I say, the cater rail is supplied if you don't already have a replacement. And it's just a case of going up again, drilling some holes, putting the cater rail up there with some screws and some butyl tape, and then the awning fabric, as you can see, easily slides in, and this we found to be the easiest way to do it. Again, I just had a piece of rag on top of that because there were some sharp points there and I didn't want to rip the awning fabric or scratch it. So now we're just going to make sure that we kind of get the fabric kind of centered in the middle of the two arms, and we use the very, yep, there we go. We use the very accurate measurement of 2 fingers apart. So now the next thing is we need to slide the awning pole into the bottom of the fabric. And there are 2 locations marked. Oh, first of all, we trim these down because these are a little bit long. So we trim them back to about 2 inches, an inch, 2 inches, something like that. You can trim it afterwards if you wish. I just chose to trim it now. And you'll see 2 arrows. So these are the 2 grooves that they want you to slide this fabric into. It's a little bit fiddly to get it going at first, but once you're going, it's very easy to mount it on. You'll see in a minute. I hold the fabric and Valerie pushes the awning pole straight in. It's nice and easy. We have this on 2 tables because we didn't want to hang it on the ground, touch it on the ground, or hang it too hard. But I've got hold of it now, and you can see Valerie is pushing along the pole, and it's just sliding in nice and easily. We just have to reposition the tables because we're running out of room. But once this is on, this is very easy now to just wind up and put on top of the RV and mount it on. It's quite straightforward. But as you can see, Valerie is just finishing off pushing that along. There's the end I was talking about. This is the front of the RV, the one with the wire hanging out. You have to make sure this goes to the front of the RV where you're going to put the electrics. So now again, I'm just going to trim these down. The Rec Pro send a nice long amount for you to use. And now this is the last part I was talking about. Is now we just roll it up, literally just roll it up like you would, and then we have to climb the ladder a little bit, of course, and then get it mounted. So it mounts via a nut and bolt, which I did show earlier. So all we're doing now is we've wound it up almost about a foot remaining, and the reason we've done that is because we want once we've connected it, we want the awning to just come out about a foot and relax. So here you can see this is the nut and bolt that goes through the awning post and the 2 holes. Once you've put that on front and back, you can then go and release these 2 Velcro straps. The Velcro straps are there to keep the awning arm closed. As soon as you take those off, the awning wants to spring out, and the only thing stopping it now is the fact that the fabric is attached. So now we're going to come down to the switch, the electrics. Again, this is a replacement, so all I'm really doing now is going to put the new switch on that Rec Pro supply. So in reality, this switch is no good. So here's the new switch. It's a very nice switch, by the way. There's the wiring diagram. This is all in the manual as well that Rec Pro send. And it's an automatic switch. So you just press it once and it retracts, and you don't have to press and hold it. All I'm doing now is I'm just literally checking the wiring that came off the old switch, because I'm trying to find the live and the neutral. So once I've found that, I wrote them down. The blue and white wire, they can go to either side. It doesn't matter. But you have to get the positive and negative the correct way around, of course. So make sure you wire it up correctly. I'm just clipping on some terminals and getting it ready to go. And once I do that, I I can just refer back to my notes of what colour was what, and wire it up. If this is the first time you're fitting an awning, then you will have to send some wires down to the fuse box. Make sure you use a separate fuse. It's not worth connecting this up to another one. And as soon as you're there, you can just make a hole, put the switch in, and it's ready to go. So now what we need to do is we need to slightly retract. No, sorry, we need to wire. There we go, we're wiring. Right, so we need to wire the outside up now. So there's two parts to wire. We need to wire the awning leg to the actual RV itself. Now this is only temporary. This is just in order to extend the awning. We're only looking to get the awning out now, so as we can get it set in the right position and we can wire it up properly. So this is just temporary. Don't be alarmed at this, by the way. It's this is just temporary. So that's the RV wired to the arm. Now of course we have to wire the arm to the actual awning tube itself. So again, just temporary. We're just doing this to extend the awning so we can get it in position, because this Rec Pro awning is quite unique in the fact that it has a sensor that stops once it gets to the position you've set it to. So when you want to extend it, you just press the button and walk away. It does it all automatically. So as you can see now, the awning's coming out. I'm not touching anything, the button's already been pressed, and it's coming out automatically, and it has a stop on it. And Rec Pro send this little green screwdriver that you put in, and as you turn it quarter of a turn, the awning just starts to extend a little bit by little bit by little bit, like that. You can see it just going round now as I'm turning it. So what I'm doing here is I'm setting the stop. So I'm making the awning aware that once it gets to where I want it to be, it's going to stop. Okay, a little bit more. I just want that fabric hanging down. So I've stopped there. So now what's going to happen is, once you press the button to extend the awning, it will stop in that exact place. It's a really nice system. So now we've got it fully extended, we can go ahead and wire it up properly. So Rec Pro send some very nice waterproof fittings. This is just the one that goes through from the main tube, the main awning tube, through to the arm. This again is the one at the front of the RV. So you slide on this waterproof connector, and then you can connect it up to the actual arm itself. So now it's connected nicely. Make sure that's done up nice and tight, nice and waterproof. So just slide it through the hole, and then you have a lock nut that goes on the back. And once you've tightened that up, they send quite a lot of wire, by the way, so you want to trim this down so as this connector that I'm about to fit, it sits roughly where it is now. You don't want to put it underneath this clear piece of plastic on the left, because it's going to bulge out a lot. So just slide the wire through. Now you're going to need to make a connection here, and you need to make sure that the connection you use is small enough to slide into that waterproof connector. I use some connectors that you use a heat gun, and they shrink down in size. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're going to use some blue butt connectors or something, you might need to stagger them, because they may not be small enough in the end to fit inside this waterproof casing. So these are great because they have a small piece of solder inside and two waterproof ends, and once you heat them up, they just shrink down nice and tight, and they're also waterproof themselves. So we have a double waterproof seal here. It's a very nice system. So we just connect the two together, and once that's done, as you can see, yep, they slide in nicely. It's just the right size. So we put the cap on, the nice little waterproof bung, and that is one part done. And again, it just sits there nicely, and it doesn't go underneath that plastic piece that would bulge. Now, RecPro send quite a bit of wiring here, by the way, and we chose not to make the second connection outside. I chose to make the connection inside. So I'm just taping this up now so I can pull it through and make the connection inside. And then I put the panel back on and you can't even see that wiring. So this is the last screw that I was talking about. There's one more fitting to do once you get the awning arms open, and that is halfway up the awning arm itself. So again, you can just drill the hole, nice big chunk of butyl tape, put the screw in, front and back. Now we're up at the top of the arms. This is where the wire comes out, so I just want to silicone it up. And this is quite an important part now. We're winding the awning in and out, retracting and extending it 3 or 4 times because we want to remove all the creases that were there when we rolled it up. And also it centers the fabric in between the 2 arms, which is quite important. So do this 3 or 4 times, and then once you're happy it's in the right position and it's square, you can go up to the cater rail and you can screw the awning fixed still. Just put a screw through the cater rail into the awning fabric itself and it won't move. And now Valerie's going to show you another important part. This is fairly standard on most awnings. You can undo the thumb screw there and you can angle it. This is also good for allowing the water to run off, or if you've got some more shade from the sun or anything, but make sure you return it to its upright position before you retract the awning. That's quite important. And RecPro, this is quite unique for this awning. You can wind this awning away even if you've lost power in your RV. So I hope that was helpful.